This is 4C Part 2, where you're asked to produce annotated screenshot evidence to explain how the report and underlying query were created to meet the requirements. This was the reminder to pay the deposit report, which looks something like this. So if we go back up to our requirements, we need to basically go through each one of these requirements and check that it was done. So we'll start off by looking at the query, the underlying query. So this is where we're showing that we included the query. And we've said that the deposit received is set to 0 because only visitors who not paid deposit should be shown. And then we've explained about the check-in date. Now notice how when we look at this, we go for date add, we look at date bracket, we look at the D part, we look at the 35 part, and then we give an overall statement. We also say what the query was saved as. But here it's about covering every little part of that criterion. So that has covered. Our reminders should only be sent for reservations. They have a check-in date within the next 35 days, that is the date add, and where deposit has not been paid, 0. So we've covered that part. Now we've got our report. So I use the report wizard to create a report. So we're going through that process, showing what fields that we put in, because the question asks how was that report created. We've shown how we've grouped it so that we can do the separate page, and this bit shows how we actually put the visitors onto new pages. So that's a separate page for each visitor. We've got the title and the logo in the page header. So we've got that covered. We've got the logo being at the top. That's just been repeated. So it doesn't make much difference there. We need the window envelope. So that's showing that we'd put the fields in the window envelope. An introductory sentence, so we've covered that. And then have we included details for each visitor to show the check-in date, check-out date, room number and room description. So let's just have a quick look at that report. Check-in date, check-out, room number and description. So as long as our printout shows that, we covered that as well. Now I'm just going to read the introduction to the question because there might be something there. First day before check-in, that's just some information. Hotel like to send reminders to customers 35 days prior to check-in if their deposit is still due to be paid. That was covered by this requirement here. But in the real coursework, you might find that there are some requirements hidden within the question. So that's your requirements annotated.